It's half time between Bangalore and Hyderabad then, and we've already managed the highest first inning score of this tournament, albeit by just one run, 163 for 5. The Royal Challengers Bangalore, after David Warner put them in. I wonder what sort of total that is now, especially after the start that Devdutt Padikkal gave, and I don't rule out that he would now be a regular name and a household name in a lot of houses, at least those that don't follow domestic cricket as much like Deep Dasgupta does. We knew that Padikkal could be a special player, and we're going to discuss him as well as AB de Villiers and the Sunrisers bowling on Whirlpool presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout powered by Dell. So Deep Dasgupta and Tom Moody are here. Deep, let's start with Devdutt Padikkal. That was fun.
Yeah. It was, and I'm so glad because I was excited to see him play at this level, because I knew he was good enough, but unless you actually play, you don't know how you're going to do at this level. But again, it's the same Devdutt Padikkal that I've seen in domestic cricket, dominating the bowlers. He's got a lot of time. He's got the gift of the timing. He's not a slogger. He's like a proper batsman. And some of the area of shots that we saw, I mean, apart from those mid-wicket and square leg stuff, I mean, that hit over extra cover, straight down the ground. I mean, it's just brilliant.
Tom Moody, that was a fun innings to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's impressive. It's always nice seeing a tall, elegant left-hander, play the way he did play. First time that I've actually seen him play, so he certainly looks an impressive player. So I know a lot of teams now be doing their homework to work out how they're going to try to bowl to him, knowing that he is a free spirit, and looks like he's been given that license as well up the front there to just go out there and express himself.
Well, he dominated a partnership with an experienced international like Aaron Finch, and that tells you something. A partnership of 90 inside 11 overs. After that, Tom Moody is 163 for 5, a bit of an underachievement.
Yeah, I think the Sunrisers pulled it back nicely. They had a horrible start in a number of respects with regards to their first 6 overs. Not only the injury to Mitchell Marsh sort of made them a man down with their bowling attack, but I thought they were pretty sloppy. Apart from Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, I thought the rest of the bowling was pretty sloppy, and it just lacked that sort of normal razor edge discipline that the Sunrisers have had in the past. But again, they'd have to be excused. This is the first outing for the team. But they certainly did claw it back. They showed that they adjusted very quickly to the right lengths and changed the pace that required on that surface. Even though I think the total is a good total, but I think certainly when they were no wicket down for 90, as you said, with 9 overs left with 10 wickets left, they would have been eyeing up 180 plus.
Yeah, especially you thought Kohli and de Villiers came in at just the right time. The openers had done their job, and de Villiers did take off. Kohli, maybe just as he was looking to take off, fell. But at 163, would the Sunrisers be the happier team at halftime?
I think, yeah, after that start from RCB, I think this is a good score. Let's not forget that it's a good score, but it's a score which is chaseable, which is very, very chaseable. So they would be happy from that perspective, and heard VVS during the game as well. He was pretty confident that they will be able to pull them back. And the middle overs, yeah, I mean, let's not forget you had Rashid Khan bowling those 4 overs where, generally he does well. And I think importantly, it was the last 2 overs and that throw from Manish Pandey. They could have got another 6-7 runs. I think that run out was a brilliant piece of fielding from Manish, and maybe add another if he wouldn't get out at that point in time. Maybe another 8 odd runs to the total would have been added.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the Sunrisers bowling for a bit. Thomas, we've looked at the first 3 games. Looks like batsmen, some of the innings we've seen have been terrific, from Rayudu and Manish and Mayank Agarwal and Marcus Stoinis, AB and Padikkal today. The bowling and the fielding, is that going to take a bit longer to reach optimum levels? Because you said that Sunrisers with the ball and perhaps a little bit in the field too looked a little bit rusty.
Yeah, they did. And look, everyone's coming off the same playing field, really. A lot of teams have had exactly the same preparation. There's only been a sprinkling of players amongst the different teams that have come from cricket. But the majority have been out of cricket for a number of months. So just getting the rhythm of the game and the speed of the game will take a little bit of time. But I think you'll find, after the first week's cricket, the players will hit their strides. But certainly, the Sunrisers, I thought, apart from Bhuvaneshwar early on, I think they looked like they lacked a little bit of penetration, to be honest with you. One thing that stood out for me was the fact they lacked a bit of pace as well. And that was surprising to me that someone like Khalil Ahmed was left out of the side, because what he does is he's got that aggressive streak to his bowling, and he can reach the sort of 140 plus mark.
Yeah, Deep, that's a fair point. All the seamers that played today, Bhuvaneshwar included, round about that same 120, 130, mid 130s at best. So it's the sameness to the attack?
Yeah, and listen, I mean, the strength of SRH was always their bowling, right? Their ability to pick wickets. But when you look at this bowling side, I mean, that's when you start looking for a bowler who is going to pick wickets. Yes, Rashid Khan is there, but if you play his 4 overs out, that penetration that Tom was mentioning, I mean, that's something that they really need to look into. I mean, apart from Bhuvaneshwar initially, I mean, it didn't seem like they're going to pick wickets. So, I mean, that's something that they really, really need to look into.
Tom, this is only on the evidence of 1 innings, but I'd love to have this conversation with you. When you've got a great start the way Finch and Padikkal have given, something perhaps that Kohli and AB de Villiers in recent times haven't been used to. They've now come in after a good start, right? 19, 11 overs. They then have a partnership of 33 from 28 balls, where they both like to just work it around. There weren't too many dot balls then, but there were lots of singles and twos. But a 28-ball stand is more or less at a run a ball. Then Kohli gets out. There's just 1 over in the last 10 that's actually gone over 10 runs and over. Was there a case to perhaps play at a different tempo, given the start and given the resources that were available?
Yeah, I think both the players need to be excused, really, because at the end of the day, both of them haven't played out in the middle for some time, and I think they were feeling their way, and they were backing themselves to finish strongly. We saw de Villiers finish strongly. Kohli fell short, obviously, but we've also got to appreciate there's the huge expectation on players like de Villiers and Kohli. They're always in conversation when it comes to the world's best batsmen. So given that they've been out of the game, they are human as well. So they do take a little bit of time to find their rhythm and get themselves in, knowing that, this is a marathon, not a sprint. This is a long tournament, and just getting themselves in, getting a score on the board is going to really set up their tournament.
That having been said, like Tom said, AB de Villiers did take off. No signs of rustiness from him, at least towards the end, Deep.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, I guess that's the whole plan. I mean, I mean, when both of them were batting together, ABD and Virat, they started off, whoever stayed back took the game deep and played till the end. I think that's what they would be looking to do more often than not. I mean, one of them stays and bats deep, whoever stays out there. I think predominantly that should be the whole game plan. But yeah, I mean, even for that matter, someone like Shivam Dube was kind of promoted ahead of Joshua Philippe, and 7 of 8 deliveries, especially against Natarajan. I thought he's going to go after Natarajan, but yeah, he bowled a good over there, Natarajan to Shivam Dube. I think, yeah, I mean, that was kind of that over, I thought should have been a big one if you ideally were looking at 180.
Yeah, the only big over came in that penultimate over from Sandeep Sharma. Right, before we move to the chase, one quick comment on Mitchell Marsh. Tom, such a talented player, but a career written with injury, doesn't look good after the way he went off after several attempts to try and complete a first over. If he is out for a significant period of time, how does that upset the Sunrisers team for you?
Oh, look, it will upset them because there'll be an overseas player down and an option down. That is the pace bowling all-rounder option. But as a lot of people have said, and we discussed in the pre-show, Nabi's unlucky not to be playing. So, I'd imagine Mohammad Nabi would just walk back into the side. Or, given that this side has lacked, we've talked about lacked a bit of pace, they might roll the dice and go with Billy Stanlake. He stands at nearly 6'10" and bowls 150. So if they want pace, well, let's roll him out and give him a run.
Yeah, it was good for Sunrisers in the few appearances that he has had. Now let's look at the second innings. Before I get to the batting, which is pretty straightforward, Warner Bairstow got 500 runs against RCB when they played that game at Hyderabad last year. But let's talk about bowling plans for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Dale Steyn, Umesh Yadav, Navdeep Saini. Who bowls at the death?
Navdeep Saini for sure. Maybe an over from Dale Steyn and an over from Umesh Yadav.
How do they start, Tom, for you? Washington Sundar likes to take the new ball too.
Yeah, I think they might keep Navdeep Saini for the middle and the end, and maybe put in an over with Umesh, Washington Sundar, and Dale Steyn.
Tom, same question for you.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. That sounds right to me. Sundar's a good matchup for David Warner, the left-hander. Dale Steyn will no doubt take the new ball and try to swing it. We know the white ball only swings for maybe 2 to 3 overs max, so you want him and Umesh trying to get that swing in the first 2-3 overs, but then use the off-spin in a matchup against Warner if he's still around.
Right, this should be fun. These 150, 160 totals. We're not quite sure what to make of it. If I have to ask for a quick prediction, Deep?
RCB.
Tom?
Oh, look, it's a tough question for me, isn't it?
let a little bit of bias come in. It's all right.
My heart says Sunrisers, but my head's saying RCB.
Very well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Pick up the conversation at the end of the game. Hope to have your company for that as well on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket 4 T20 Timeout, powered by Dell. For now, let's see if the Sunrisers Hyderabad can manage to chase 164. Bye-bye.